Hi, my name's Mark. I come from Ormskirk in Lancashire. I'm a physio in the NHS in West Lancs, and I just want to talk tonight about how I became a Christian. My story starts in Ormskirk. I was born into a happy family. I didn't have the best start as a baby because I got an infection in my leg when I was just a few weeks old. That infection went to my knee and caused me to get osteomyelitis, and it became quite severe, and at one point they thought that my leg would turn out so much that I'd actually never walk again. I was treated with antibiotics and various different treatments at the time, but they were still not that hopeful that things would go very well. But my mum, who's a Christian, took me to a prayer tent. Again, I think just age of a matter of weeks or months old, and I was prayed for that night. And from then on, my legs started to straighten up, and to the point where I had very little trouble with it ever after, and I was able to do everything that I ever wanted to do: play football, sports, run, no problem. So that was what could have been a bad start to life turned out to be a wonderful blessing for me. Obviously, I knew nothing about it at the time, or I don't remember it. As a child, I remember going to Sunday school for a short time when I was young, but quickly left there. Wasn't really interested. Although I did always believe there was a God. I did believe that the Bible was, I would say, real or true, even though in truth I'd never actually read it, so it was just an idea in my head. I grew up as any other kid, I suppose. Played football, went out, did what everyone else did. At the age of 14, I was madly into football. I had a season ticket at Liverpool. I went to watch Liverpool in the semi-final at Hillsborough in 1989. I was on the Leppings Lane terrace, standing up behind the goal where the tragedy happened. I still remember getting into the ground early and going down to the very front of the terrace and standing at the railings at the front of the terrace and wondering whether we should stand there and watch the game from there. And I don't know why, but we decided not to. We decided to stand further back, which is a decision that probably saved my life, really. When the game was on, I remember feeling a sense of being really crushed and experiencing something I'd never experienced at a football match before. And I did cry out to God at that point. I asked God to help me. I say I did believe God was there, even though I'd never really prayed much before. And I, to this day, don't really know how I managed to get out of there. We managed to wriggle and push through people despite the weight of the crowd behind me, and I managed to get out the back of the terrace. So, again, looking back, that's amazing. It was a miracle, really, to me that I survived there. But I came out of there, and I still wasn't particularly turned towards God. I didn't really have that many thoughts towards God. At age 18, I left home. I went to university down in Birmingham. I studied biology. I enjoyed the student life down there. I lived it up quite a lot. I had a life where I became very confident, I think, and very busy and active in a social life, which basically meant going out all the time, drinking lots. As is normal, I know, for a lot of students and that, but I took it to quite a degree, I think, and I got to a point where I couldn't really ever stay in. I had to go out all the time, and bizarrely, I think outwardly I had a life that lots of people looked at and thought, well, that's really good. You're doing well in so many things, academically and sportingly, and from a social point of view, you seem to have a lot of good things going on in your life. But the truth of the matter was, inside I was absolutely empty. I was living week to week, day to day, striving and trying to find some purpose and some meaning to life, which I wasn't finding from trying to live in the world and gain my enjoyment from that. But nevertheless, I struggled to get away from that. I couldn't break that life that I was in. I was just stuck in it. It was like a roller coaster that I was on, and I couldn't seem to get off. And I did have times then where I did think about God, and something in me said that one day I'm going to have to deal with God. I'm going to have to come to him and sort my life out, because I knew it couldn't go on like this forever. But as I said, I didn't seem to find a way to get off it myself. But when I was 22, I got into a situation where I had quite a big problem in my life. I won't go into the details, but I felt that things I'd got involved in were not good in God's eyes, and I felt I'd offended God quite severely, quite seriously, and I actually came to believe that God hated me, really. I had a mindset, really, that God loves the good people, and if you're good, God loves you, and if you're bad, God hates you. And that